Hello, hello, hello. A very warm welcome to episode 2, season 3, Beyond the Fairway. I am very pleased that I am able to kick this one off. This is a little bit of a unique episode because I'm here in London as per usual, but the guys, well, they're over at the APGA Black History Month Classic at Indian Canyon, Palm Springs. They are live. They've just finished their rounds and they are joined by a very special guest.
Yeah, we are joined by a special guest, one of my longtime friends, Wyatt Worthington's in the building right now, Eastside Golf representative, Henni, Ohio in the building. We all out here, man. So this is a very unique episode. We're doing a live from the APGA. So you're not gonna have Brandel and Cara. You're gonna have Henni, Will, and me. So this is already a better start. But Will, you and Wyatt were already having a little conversation, just going back and forth. I didn't mean to get in the way of, but Will. Yeah. Why y'all okay right now?
It's thank you, Black Brandel.
Yo, that's how we starting this. All right, shots fired. Let me lock in.
So I was interested in understanding Wyatt's perspective. We talked offline on occasion about playing at APGA Tour events as well as being a member, but playing at PGA Tour events. Because we just had the 2-week run with Marcus Bird.
That's right.
Right, Marcus Bird, he had a ample amount of media
that's right.
Obligations he had to meet. So I was interested, want to know how the demand that you have as a individual getting an exemption. Talk about the media demands you have to
But before you do it, Wyatt, we got to make sure. I gotta put your stats on the wall real quick. You're talking to a 2-time PGA Championship participant. Twice, not once. You played at Baltusrol, where I was living with you. Mm-hmm. You also played at Southern Hills last year there in Tulsa. You also played in last year's Rocket Mortgage. Just want to make sure we get his stats out here so, people understand. We ain't talking to no just regular off-the-street guy. This is a major contender here. There you go.
You trying to gas me up in Cali, bro?
Yeah.
Gas prices is high, bro. Yo, fam. It's me. Yeah, I appreciate the gesture.
We gotta make sure
but at the
understand.
end of the day, I'm a nobody's nobody. I'm not better than anyone, and I just try to do the right thing. But to get back to the circle of, let's go back to you before we touch base.
That's fine. Come on with me.
Just to spread some light, if we talking accolades, not for the people who do not know. Am I looking at?
Yeah, you looking at.
I'm gonna look at Henni. Henni. I'm gonna.
No.
This is a better face to look
That's
at,
it.
anyways.
That's
Yes, please.
it is a better face to look at.
Henni, I don't know if you know or not, but I didn't know at the time that I was actually, and still to this day, to my knowledge, the 2 PGA championships, I'm the first African American who's played in the most out of the PGA of America.
Really?
Wow.
Let that sit in for a second.
Let me let
Let
it
that
sink.
sit. Yeah.
Like, let that marinate.
Let that sit.
When has the PGA of America been established?
1916 is what I heard.
Yep.
That's what I heard.
Wow.
1916. So there's 29,000, 28,000, give or take, in the United States Class A professionals. Out of that number, there's
160,
give or take
180?
150, 175.
Depends on how you count multi-ethnic people. Biracial.
175, give or take.
Let's call it 175.
Yeah. And so that the numbers are crazy. So I'm literally, I don't supposed to be there on a number standpoint. I'm less than half a percent. So I'm defying the odds.
Hold on, we're gonna go across the pond real quick, Will. Henni wants to jump in here before we get to those other questions. Henni, go ahead.
Yeah, that is incredible. I also love that you know that and you own that and you're like, I want to put that up there as a fact right now. And my question is, did you feel the weight of that? Did you know that at the time when you were playing, and did you feel the weight of that when you were there?
I actually got to give a special shout out to Tom Woodard, because he's the first African American to get through 1975, I believe. And funny enough, it was at Baltusrol where I played my first major. So without him, there would be no me. Right. And between 1975 and 2016, that's been the next gap for African Americans to play in the PGA Championship. Those numbers are crazy, right?
That are PGA professionals, not Tiger Woods, Harold Varner, and Cameron Champ, Joseph Bramlett.
Yep. Shout out to them.
That's right.
But yeah, you have to think about that, right? Like, well, one, why is that number that number? And the second portion of it, I'm blessed to be a part of that accolade, but at the end of the day, it's also sad as well too, right? Because for pushing the envelope even more so, like I just found out personally, I'm one of 26 when it comes to the multi-ethnicity, but African American standpoints to ever played in a major ever.
Why he's preaching today?
And the only reason why I have those numbers is because of Bob Denny. You know, he's the historian with PGA of America, been a great, you know, friend, supporter. So I definitely have to, you know, give him his flowers in those regards. But just like,
But so the thing, all the stuff you're just saying. So how have you navigated the culture of the PGA of America world, being the fact that you are one of one?
You going in right now?
Yeah,
you going in
I
right now?
am. I'm not. I'm going in, but I'm not trying to get fired.
We
so,
are not.
I'm not trying to get fired.
They gonna put Wyatt's Class A up for
We
review.
don't play around.
That question for
He gonna be Class A1. No sauce.
All right, hold on. That one shocked the system. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna keep it professional. Can you run that back one more time so I can gather my?
In that, you know, with all the stats you just quoted.
Yep.
We got new wrinkles in our brain from learning what you just spoke
Yeah.
of. But how have you navigated the culture in that PGA space?
Yeah. Like you caught me in rare form today. Like you guys caught me in rare form. Do you understand how I wanted to be on y'all show? Like I played in a major. I tried to play in a tour event. I still couldn't get in. And now today of all days, we at y'all college.
We bring Henni in.
Ooh, I know, and Henni. It's all love.
We apologize, Wyatt.
Nah, it's all good.
But let's be honest though. Like, you know, I got a chance to see some of your story. You know, as you caddied at Muirfield Village and Seminole and other courses for other people as a Class A professional.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, to Will's point, I feel like the PGA should have had your back a little more as it relates to placement and opportunities to be other places.
Yeah. But to answer your question, this is tough. Like, y'all want me to keep it a buck?
No,
y'all want me to?
I need to let that thing go.
No, you have to be real.
Oh, Henni, you enabling too?
He's enabling.
I thought we was.
This is why I'm here.
Oh.
This is why I'm the third host. The whole reason is because I want truth, I want realness, I want community. That's what this podcast is all about.
I'm not trying to get canned. I don't want no
You ain't gonna
problems.
get this.
But all right. I'll go in a little bit.
This is we all brown people.
Yeah, I know.
Ain't no
It's all
cancel
love. This is
culture in this
family,
space.
right?
We'll gang up on other people.
Yeah, to keep it
Right,
a
we're
buck.
brown people speaking to the community.
And speaking to the truth.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Keep it a buck with y'all. It's tough. Is an understatement. Like tip of the iceberg. Just trying to be as political PC as possible. The things that I've learned being a PGA professional would be systematic racism. If I'm going back even a little bit further, and I don't even like talking about myself like that.
I do know.
Like I came from a first tee program, right, from Columbus, Ohio, but I end up wanting always to be a professional golfer. And, you know, I wanted to go to college, I wanted to be a PGA professional, graduate from high school. And I told my parents, I was like, hey, I want to be a professional golfer. And they was like, well, you going to college. So it turned out they ended up winning that. So and I ended up going to a PGM school that I'm not even going to mention the name of it. That's just where we're at.
That's it. Okay,
But
we're not going to talk about that place.
with that being said, because I'm not even trying to plug them, right? With that being said, I had to try out for tryouts.
Tryout for tryout.
Try
You got a
out.
pre-qualifier for.
Yeah, right. I'm saying I had to actually try out for tryouts. So
Was
I
that even a
understood-
thing?
It was for in Wyatt.
Great question.
Well, it was
Great
for him.
question. Right.
So it is a thing.
So I understood where I was going. I'm from Ohio originally. I was going to a school down south, and I was like, all right, I understood I had an uphill battle because of, you know, being down the south. You already know the stereotypes. Right. All right, we there. Perfect. So I took it upon me originally was to just take this as, you know, let me earn my stripes. I'm not going to let this, you know, hold it against me. I understand I've had plenty of adversity and trials and tribulations of my life at that point in time. So what's another little hurdle I got to jump over?
Okay.
Right. With that being said, I tied the course record the first time I ever set foot on the course. I didn't even know.
How about that for checking a box?
I didn't even know at the time because I was just out here just, you know, leisure, you know, playing golf, not in a leisure standpoint, but I just took it upon me like, yo, I'm not saying I'm above anyone, but I was like, yo, I can definitely beat these guys, right? So once I found that out, I end up, winning, or even I'll say face. I'll say I'll come in second or tie for 5, just to save face, right? Once I came in that quote-unquote 5th place, even though I'm pretty sure it was higher, I did not play one collegiate tournament at all in my entire life. You're talking to someone who's played in 2 majors, 1 regular PGA Tour event thus far. We're going to try to keep doing that furthermore this season, speaking to existence. But, like, let that sit in, because nowadays, like, there's opportunity, right? When you look at, people at NBA, people at the NFL, like, people go to college to try to get to the league, right? That's now, right. I understand it's a little bit different back then, but now they have the PGA Tour University. And at that point, it was kind of like taken away. Like, everyone, going at the college standpoint, they end up, honing their skills and, learning life, time management, all this, that, and the third, what you do learn in college. And that was kind of stripped away. Like, I was in a terrible spot. Like, it's even so hard for me to talk about this stuff right now, because you already know I keep to myself for the most part. Yeah. But it helps to get this story out, because, like, I know someone who's, like, really going through it is going to hear this one day and be like, yo, this helped me. So beforehand, I was going through a terrible time in college. I went through a deep depression. I mean, like, deep depression. Like, even, like, talking about it right now, like, I was going to, commit suicide. Right. That's just where I'm at. Like, and it's not even as selfish as taking your way out. It's people don't understand the type of pain, like, anguish that you're actually in mental health. And people don't know what people are going through. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody knows. Like, nobody knows. When you're going to home or when you check it, like, nobody really knows what's going on. So I was in a deep depression, like, something I've never experienced before in my life.
I've known you 20 years and didn't know this.
Yeah, bro. I don't even talk. Like, it hurts to even talk about it. I get it. And when I talk about learning, like, that systematic racism, like, that's what I learned in college, and I learned, like, in the PGA of America. Yeah. And, like, this stuff is, like, is wild to me to answer, like, to go back further, answering your question, like, what's it like, bro? Like, you got to do so much code switching, and go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh yeah. There's so much things about code switching. If people who do not know what code switching up, get your Googles up.
Get your Google. That's right.
Get your Googles up. But, coming to a safe place to inform. Code switching is, a psychological term that, if you're in a different environment that you're not used to, you have to flip the script and try to blend in and camouflage.
It's an assimilation technique.
I know you have them bars.
Assimilation is so stressful at times.
No, it is. We've all had to do it. Henni's had to on numerous occasions. Yeah.
That's sort of a lot of when I was preparing the questions for this podcast and for you, and thinking about culture on the APGA Tour versus how we are in our day-to-day lives versus on the PGA Tour. And as you said, that code switching. And that is a lot of weight, actually, because not only do you have to change the way that you're thinking, it's almost like speaking another language. You're thinking about your body language, you think about how you hold yourself, you think about every word that comes out, you're thinking about your mannerisms. There's so much energy that is drained from code switching. And in almost a reverse way, like when I did episode 1 of the podcast, for example, I had to figure out how to be again in a real way, because you're so not used to it within the golfing environment. Damn. And I guess my question is, like, playing in majors, playing in PGA Tour events, how does that feel to be playing under that kind of weight, as well as the pressure of trying to perform for your career?
Look, golf's already hard enough. We can agree to that.
Fair.
Right? And on top of handling this type of, I don't want to use the word burden, right? Because, like, it's just uncharted territories in the sense of, like I said, I don't want to say I'm out here by myself, but it kind of feels like that, right? Because, like, when I was at the second PGA Championship, Like I was the only. I mean, obviously there's Tiger, right? Let's not let's not
Let's
do
not
that.
trip.
HV's in there. Don't. But
Right.
like at the same token, not every black person has the same experience as another black person. Like I'm pretty sure they didn't, come up. I mean, Tiger. Everyone knows his story. Not too many people know HV's story, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't my story, right? And for people to just see some melanin and think like, oh, they're all the same, like that's ignorant in itself, right? So like to try to juggle and deal with everything that's going on, let alone you're trying to play at the highest level and work on top of that, like it's tough. Like it's also tough to give your truth as well too, because when you're trying to not ruffle the feathers too much, because I'm trying to get sponsorship as well.
Right.
So it's like I'm always like walking the high rope. Like every step matters, every word matters, even gesture, like just how you treat people, and it's tough because like if you give your truth, not everyone has the same experiences that you do growing up, and it can definitely get perceived the wrong way.
That's right.
I was thinking, you kind of mentioned the PGA of America route.
Ooh.
I know, and
I can't dodge this.
And I keep harping on the numbers that you mentioned.
Yeah.
So overall goal, because we understand what golf can bring from a culture capital and social capital.
Yeah, facts.
And we also understand that it's a means of upward social mobility. But when you have a young man that wants to get in the PGA, and obviously you're a PGA representative. Member, excuse me. Sorry, but how do you explain that to him, going to the shit that you experience, and how do you help them avoid those same experiences that you had?
I mean, that's a juggling act in itself. Like it's tough because I'm like, yo, y'all want me to keep it a buck? Like at the same time, I don't want to keep it too real and just like not let people. I'm trying to take some of my biases out as well too, but still it's like I'm not trying to, like if there's like a cop up ahead, like people look out for each other, they flash their lights and stuff like that. So should I not flash the lights in someone who's trying to come up here? So it's like I have to also like give my truth and try to not ruffle the feathers and more so deprive, or that's not the word I'm looking for, like put down on people who wants to come up, because like, yo, this is a beautiful game.
Yeah.
And it can be a even better organization as well too, if there's needs to be changed. And not saying that they're not changing all the way right now, because you see I'm dancing right now. I don't want no problems. Like
I get it.
But like it's tough, man. But like it's. Go ahead.
So, and you just mentioned, and this is for our listeners, because when you're speaking about mental health, and I went through it. I lost my mother 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So that fork in the road that you're talking about, I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw it. And
not everybody sees that too.
Yeah, and not everybody sees that.
Yeah.
So, and for our listeners out there, I want to know, how'd you overcome that? I know it's a basic question, but
that's not basic. Yo, that's not basic. Do you understand like being in the? It's tough to even give people in a situation if they've never experienced anything. It's like, yo, have you ever had an orange before? And people have never been in an environment to have an orange, right? I don't know why that's super random.
But what you're saying is people do receive a package of unearned benefits.
Yeah.
And there comes a point to where, how can you experience my walk if you're not taking the time to understand where I come from? So that's why I'm curious. Again, I want to know, how'd you overcome that? Because I mean, it was a lot of prayer for me. So
yeah, I mean, facts. Same prayer, and like I kept I was like, yo, today's the day. Today's the day. Today's the day. I'm gonna call it quits. And the one thing I thought of, I was like, well, if I do go out, like, what would make me be a little bit happy before I go? And I was like, yo, I love music. Like, y'all know I love music. I was like, yo, let me just put on, my favorite, Jay-Z, put on, M, put on J. Cole, put on Kendrick. Hopefully one day they would see this, because like, yo, they saved me. J. Cole, like they saved me. And then I would play, video games. Like that would be my other passion. Like if I didn't have those two, if I didn't have those two vices, if you will, like I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here. That's tough to say. That's tough to say
all right.
out loud, bro.
Well, let's change the gear though.
Yeah.
You here?
We here.
We here.
We here.
Facts.
We here.
So what do we need to do to? And when I say we, I'm talking about the community. Like, this season of Beyond the Fairway, we're really trying to build a community where we can move and push things our damn selves without needing, some of the traditional, means that we've had. So what do we need to do for you to get to where you're trying to be?
Before I answer that question, because I respect your guys' opinion so much, where your head is, like, let y'all answer the question before I tackle it. Like, what do you think we need?
Ooh, I like
Fair.
that.
Put an audible on us, huh?
Henni, you can jump in too. You're not safe.
Well, before we move on, I do just want to say that I am profoundly emotional and impacted by your story, and thank you so much for sharing that. I feel very grateful that you felt able to share that with us, and I think especially as a black man and a successful black man, that's so important for you to share that. So I just want to say that before we move on to positivity, which I know we're going to go to. I really feel strongly grateful to you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't with you guys. You know what I'm saying? So thank you.
I feel like we need to listen to some Kendrick right now. That's about the only person who can bring me back. Okay, so Wyatt asked us the question on our own damn show.
Yeah.
Has that ever been done before?
No, not really. People just kind of let us go, but you different. We go way back. I want to see what happens if you have a truck of money, a country club membership, and provies on the range.
Whew.
I don't think. And this is I think it's true for you, and I think it's true for multiple people out here as we're doing a live from the APGA Tour Black History Month Classic here in Palm Springs. If guys had a fair chance, just a fair one, not that guys that have exhibited a little bit of talent. Because I told you this. So Wyatt and I in 2016, I was eating with you. We're in the locker room, and I think I either told you or your parents. I said, if you don't walk away with $100,000 in sponsorship commitments this week, you f***ed up.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a little harsh now thinking it back, but my point was this is an opportunity for people to see you display your talents, see how hard you work to get here. There should be people that should be invested in your future. And I don't think we saw that like we could have, and then it happened again, and there were some different things that happened, but still shy of the mark.
Mm-hmm.
Still shy of the mark. So that's my stance, Will. Give him a truck of money, and then buy a truck. I'm saying you need what? $250 for 3 years.
If you're gonna do it, it could be even.
I was about to figure it out.
But go ahead.
What was the question?
He asked, what do we think he needs to do to get to the next level? From our seats.
Ooh. I think for black and brown is different from being our white colleagues to get money.
Talk that talk.
So that's a little different.
I was about to jump in on that,
Yeah,
but go
I think I just think from our white colleagues, people pay attention to potential way more than they would for a black and brown.
No question. 100%.
Right?
Facts.
So black and brown, I feel like we have to, the seed has to be planted today and it has to be fully harvested tomorrow, which is not fair.
Of course.
I think the overwhelming thing that I get from listening, first up, actually, I'm going to rewind that I kind of second what Will's saying in terms of the personality shining through, but I almost, that's not fair because we always generically use the term like middle of the pack PGA Tour golfer, who is like a white guy who lives on Sea Island, wears the, I'm not going to name brands, but just wears the polo and the jumper and has the same haircut and wears the same hat. And that could be any one of 100 guys out there playing on the PGA Tour, making millions of dollars week in, week out. They answer interviews the same. You don't really get much different from them, right? So that's sort of your... What's the name? That's like your Shooter McGavin PGA Tour professional, right?
Yeah.
We're saying, okay, if you're a black man or a woman, you need to, or a black woman, you need to be able to show 10 times more personality to get more attention because the funding pool is a lot lower, which isn't fair because if you look at your white counterparts, they're not doing the same thing. But unfortunately, I think in the reality we live in, it's somewhat true. The other thing as well is running it way back is when I met you, Wyatt, was at the PGA and interviewed you, and I purposely sought you out to elevate a black voice, and I was very appreciative that you came in because you had missed the cut by a mile, and but I just wanted to have you
I'm here
on
for
my
it.
screen to elevate you, and the feedback that I got, because I think you felt, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you felt a bit more comfortable with me than maybe anyone else. And
well, I was nervous.
The feedback that I got, because we were comfortable and we were chilling, was off the charts. Everyone was like, please give this guy his own show. We want to hear from him more. Who is this really eloquent young man? Literally, like, my Twitter was going off. People were saying to me in person after that from Sky, they were like, wow, Wyatt was insane. Like, he was so good. What an eloquent young man. What an incredible young man. Like, we want to hear more from him. We want to see. And then people were invested in your story. So it's really interesting, like, hearing you speak now, and even, like, the tone of voice that you use and how you're saying, like, this is you right now. And so what I'm hearing in general as well, because of all the experiences that you've had, is that it feels like there's a lot of weight. And this is why I'm so interested when you play, when you're at the range, it feels like there's a weight. And we all have that, right? Because you're trying to balance this very fine line of
of course,
being you, but then not being you because you're walking in a white man's world, but you are a black man. And I feel like what I would love is for you to just trust yourself and just strip off all the weight and just be 100% you. And I think that would get you to the next level. But I will say I'm very spiritual in general, and like I sense that from you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate your energy, first and foremost. But to throw it back on you, do you think me stripping myself 100% and just being who I am, do you think people, as in like the golf industry, if you will, do you think people are actually ready for that? Like for us to just be who we are, just to come in inside the ropes, and
I'm not sure they necessarily are right this moment, but I also think that the way we're trying to do it doesn't necessarily work at the moment. I'm not seeing, like, if we were seeing big gains from how we're currently trying to do things, an argument can be made. But I always have maintained, like throughout my playing career, for example, I've given up tens of thousands of pounds, because I think you have to look yourself in the mirror and you have to be like, I was authentic, I gave this my all, I was me. And if that ruffles feathers sometimes, fine. But I think that is how you want to, at the end of your career, I guess, is where I go to. Do you want to be like, I was 100% me, I left it all out there, I bought Wyatt to golf? Or is golf coming to you?
I think they want samples of us.
Just bites.
I think
a little bit.
Yeah, they want
Costco
samples. They want Costco samples, right? Like because the thing is, because
I'm
you know
hurting.
we understand that, you know, our culture is a trend. We set trends.
Facts.
No matter what industry we're in, we set trends, but we don't always get the residuals of the trends that we set.
Facts.
And the thing that we are in this golf space, what I'm noticing, the industry as a whole, they want our sample. Man, come on, do a little bit of the tap dance, do your thing.
Yeah.
But it's time to get out.
Yeah, y'all gotta go.
It's time to go. So now the question to you, Wyatt, do you feel that you have to go outside yourself? Because you tried everything. You tried everything thus far. Because you still got the talent to play. You got the capability of being out there with the best in the world. You've proven it. You have proven it multiple times. But where are you in this process? Like, are you willing to try new things, or you just like, I'm just gonna figure it out?
No. First, I appreciate Will saying that I have the talent. After Henni enlightened me that I missed it by a mile. For
well,
the PGA Championship.
But hold on. You do have the talent, but hey,
I couldn't let that go. I couldn't let that
That was my intention.
Hold on.
You're good. You're good. It's all love.
I'm trapped.
Hold on. For the record, you do have the talent, but you did get beat by 2 podcasters today.
They love to kick you while they're down. Henni, we're gonna bottle this.
We
we're
still need to talk to Wyatt. Will, come on.
Sorry,
Actually, let me just drop this in. No, go in. This is just a day in the life. This is just day in the life.
Will said that shit. I didn't,
Right.
I didn't say it at all.
Yeah. Appreciate
But
that.
remember who's not with you?
But
You're talking to the winner of the John Shippen National Invitational. I'm not even that dude. Like, why are you bringing this out of me? Why are you doing
Maybe
this?
that's what needs
I
to
don't
be
want
brought
no
out.
problems.
Maybe that's what we need from you.
That's probably what
Maybe that's what we
See
need.
what
Shit talking ass Wyatt Worthington.
that's why you missing your money right there. Because the nice ass talk Wyatt word ain't doing nothing.
Yo, this is facts. This is facts. Yo, I have been like, I'm not saying like button up, but like I felt as though like I personally feel, and I've always lived by the code of like, yo, you just be a nice person, good things will happen to you. And be that as it may, and I'm blessed for all the experiences I have, but I just don't feel like I've gotten the looks like other people have done. And I'm not trying to compare myself to anybody's
It's hard
journey
not
or
to in
whatnot.
some scenarios.
Because a little bit, right?
Yeah.
A little bit. But at the end of the day, I don't even want to have that type of mentality. I'm just like, yo, do whatever it takes to get inside the ropes, right? And I have what it takes. I'm not shy enough to say that. And the crazy thing is that I've heard it from so many other tour players that's told me that. It's not like I'm asking them like, hey, what do you think of my? They're like, hey, man, you have what it takes. We just got to get you an opportunity, some resources, some access.
So that means we can't. Going back to Henni's question originally about APGA players doing PGA Tour events and all the demand. So I guess it's a good thing because you have opportunity to get exposure to everybody, let everybody know who you are. Like Henni said, her Twitter was blowing up because
that's crazy. I didn't even know that. Yeah.
But so where's the disconnect though?
But here's the thing. Yeah, and here's the thing, and I've heard so many times. I think even y'all said this, and the fact like, yo, you do great on screen. You're very personable. You're authentic, but you did a fantastic job. I've never heard like bad feedback. But then when you're talking like the disconnect, it's like, yo, you did a great job. Well, I still need some help. Like, don't just cheer me on. Like, hey, like it'd be great to if you really want to help and support. Like, yo, we need sponsorship dollars.
The thing about golf that I loved growing up, so like I haven't spoken on it yet fully, and today's not the day, but I had a very, 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 very difficult childhood. And when I turned professional, I was going through a court case, and there was a lot of expectation. There was a lot of stuff going on. When I eventually retired, which is why I think your story made me so emotional, I struggled with depression as well in a really bad way. And so when you're trying to play and deal with all those things and deal with code switching and deal with whatever else you're dealing with from generational trauma and trying to figure out just how to live as a person plus play golf, the last thing you are thinking about is Instagramming your swing on a driving range or Instagramming what you ate for dinner, because you're going back to the hotel room trying to figure your stuff out, right, for the next day. You don't have that bandwidth availability to be able to do all of that creative marketing. So I think you then have to go back to, okay, well, if that route's not available to me, golf is not subjective. That's the way I always felt about it. Like, golf is the scorecard, the number you put on the scorecard, and you are in full control of that. No one can take that from you. And so that's where I feel like, all right, what's going to allow you to play your best? What's going to allow you to do your best? Is it trying to dance around this factor and code switching and trying to mold yourself to be and bend in a million different places? Or actually, is it just releasing all of that and letting go and being like, this is me, I'm appearing how I am, and you're not gonna give me money? I'm gonna make money by being 100% authentically me and putting numbers on a scorecard, because this is not subjective. You don't get to choose if I play or not. And to your point, like, this is not college anymore. Like, no one can choose whether you play on a team or not. Like, this is all on you, which is daunting, but at the same time, like, super powerful, I think, in being able to unleash yourself.
Yeah, and I'm gonna take a different route and just say, I feel like with a bunch of money, you don't have to give a damn no more. Like, that's my attitude about, in this situation. If Wyatt had a sponsor that gave him a deal, had a situation where he was cash positive, sponsor positive, I think you don't have time to get in some of those ruts where you have to hide who you are or walk lightly, because I got it. I got a space to be. I'm over here, y'all over there. I don't need a code switch because I got all my entry fees paid. I got all my flights organized and situated. I know where I'm going, when I'm going there, and who's helped me do it. I feel like having some of that residual dollars, Henni, I think it allows you to be more of who you can be in this arena.
I think that's tough because, we need to hear from Wyatt in a second because we're just going back and forth. I know he's got something to say.
Welcome, Wyatt.
I'm here. In a weird way, as much as we were all taught by our mothers and fathers that you have to work 10 times harder to be half as good, we were all told that, and we all put that into action, and I still put that into action. When times that, like, we know how to fight. By nature of just being melanated, you know how to fight, and that's a comfortable, unfortunately, that's a comfortable default position. And when I won my first tournament was in tough conditions. I remember one time I drove to Morocco from England with £5 left in my bank account after that tournament. I couldn't afford to get to the next one. And I looked on the money board and I was like, that's where I got to finish. And I finished. So I think, in a way, yes, giving you a whole bag of money, sure, would that make things easier? But I don't think that's necessarily going to solve it. I don't think that that's the answer. I don't think that is necessary. Because let's go back to the original question. What is necessary to get to the next step? Is that necessary? No, I don't think so. I think Wyatt can do it without that.
Henni, I want to first off validate what you're saying, and especially the experiences that you've had, because I'm pretty sure you were doing it a lot longer than I am doing it currently, or attempting to do it. So what you're saying is definitely words that I'm soaking in and letting marinate, and I know, me being who I am, I'll analyze it even more so after this is done. Mm-hmm. But at the moment right now, when we're just freestyling and I'm thinking at the moment, I agree with you to the extent of, do you need money to play good golf? Technically, no. But to keep it real, would it help? Of course. You'd be lying if you need money. Like, just, even though, like, you had your £5 going to the next tournament, think about all the other competitors, right? They have the opportunity to lose and learn and keep growing as an individual. If you didn't place where you would have finished and won that tournament, then what happens? Now, I understand everyone has adversity and has to handle themselves like getting to the golf journey, because at the end of the day, money does not equal good golf scores, right? You still, even though you have a bunch of money, quote unquote, as you guys said, doesn't mean a bag of money. Doesn't mean that it's automatically you're shooting 63. That's not how this game works. You still have to go out and earn it. Now, by having some money, now you can go.
Legs crossed down here.
He
got comfortable. Go ahead. By having some money, I just want to let you.
By having some money, give him the visuals. By having some money, do you understand how powerful money is in this sport? Having money, you can get a coach, a quality coach. You can get a physical trainer of whatever it costs, whatever you need, because at this day and age, this golf is not getting shorter. Like, you need to be an athlete to play in the sport. If you're going to be if you want to compete at the highest level, we're not talking about being average. No disrespect. I'm not talking about being average on the PGA Tour. If you're looking at the top players, when you're looking at Rahm, you're looking at Roy, their ball speed is at certain. So you need to have a trainer, just even day in and day out, to make sure you're not injuring yourself while you're traveling. Right? Like, it's way deeper than, like, okay, I'm about to get big in the gym and then about to go blast it. Like, we're not even talking about that. And then I'm going to let you finish. I'm going to let you finish.
Thanks, Kanye.
I'm going to let you finish.
You don't have the answers.
Yeah, right. All right, Swing. And on top of that, like, a place to play and practice. Like, I grew up at driving ranges. I snuck on court at Munis. I got kicked off of munis. Like, do you understand? Like, I can't even fathom. I can't even, still to this day, fathom of growing up in a country club format and just like going out, out of school and just practicing as soon as I get out, done with school. Like, I'm volunteering at my driving ranges where I'm growing up just to get some golf balls. It's a totally different level.
Yeah.
And not only, like I said, like your travel and everything's taken care of, this, that, and the third. And I'm not saying you ball out and stay at the Ritz. Like, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like you have somewhat comfortable spot, like maybe at, a Holiday Inn, IHG. Go ahead and plug that in case they want to help me out. But even talking to you guys and doing, when you guys were trying to go, and play on tour, like just the stress in itself, right? Of like, all right, well, if I don't do place well in this check, or if I don't place well in this tournament, then I'm out. Now I got to figure out, getting a quote unquote job. I got, kids. I got to take care of this, that, and the third. Yo, that's like, let alone just have a quote unquote normal life. You know what I'm saying? Because everything that people, especially that are trying to do it, they're investing their life savings, they're investing their time and energy, everything into golf just to keep it going. So you mean to tell me if you don't have a quote unquote a bag of money to try to eat, to just maintain, not even be like when you get a bag of money just to be comfortable. I'm not saying that. Don't get complacent when you got money, because this quote unquote money isn't quote unquote real money. Like, we don't have Elon Musk, Bill Gates money. Like, that's real money. Jeff Bezos, like that's real money.
They got
we
play
just
money.
Right. We just talk about money just to be in the environment and get to where we're trying to go.
You are repping the new wave, a new culture in golf, in Eastside Golf. Yeah. And Olajuwon played in the event today. He was leading for a bit, and then he left. We was going to have him on here. Olajuwon, this is your call out to come back here, right here, beyond the fairway.
Shout out to Eastside Golf.
Let's talk a little bit about Eastside Golf, because I'll say this way. I've known you to be a bit more traditional as relates to, your attire in the years past. I've known you 25 years.
Okay.
I'm
broke, so hand-me-downs, but yeah, okay.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about the drip, Wyatt.
Woo! I mean, it's a new way, man. Like, as Will said earlier, we're kind of getting these, Costco samples. Like, yo, they kind of like opened up the floodgates a little bit. Like, yo, we can kind of come who we are, dress however we want to dress, and people have been showing nothing but love and support. So like the good folks over at Eastside Golf, Olajuwon, Earl Cooper, Marcus, the whole team over there, even Jordan, like for them to even take an interest in golf. And obviously Jordan already loves golf as is, but for him to give that platform to take it to the whole next level, like, yo, we need that.
This has been a insightful but intense conversation, and I'm very aware that you have to play tomorrow and actually tee it up and I know that you're going to go back and think about all of this, like you said, and download it and contemplate it, and I want to lighten it up slightly so that you're not going back to your hotel room deeply contemplating the future and funding. It's on the same wavelength though, so don't worry about it. With everywhere that golf is going right now, okay, we've got Liv coming in, trying to do new things. We've got people talking about the culture of golf. We were talking about the culture of golf and code switching. For you, in an ideal scenario, Wyatt's dreamscape, what would golf look like? How would it be an environment and a culture? Everything from like the experience, the clubhouse, music, no music, the length of holes. What would Wyatt's
That's such a loaded question.
Golf experience be like?
Wyatt's perfect golf world.
Access. We'll start there. Access to when you were coming with the juniors, where there needs to be a better access program when it comes for, people coming from poverty or that don't have the means. They need to get involved with the game on top of, whether it be a coach, whether it be a golf course, whether it be golf clubs, like all that, like access in there. They need to come who they are, however they be, whatever pronouns, whatever
whatever they identify
as, like, yo, just come who you are and just experience the beautiful sport that golf is. It's so simplistic, complex, unique, majestic golf game there is ever. Now, access. Then we'll also go to, like I think I touched on the quote since Doug apparently said I'm traditional, which that's
I
news
said
to me.
was. No, I didn't say
okay,
are. I
okay,
said
was. I
Yes,
apologize.
we in this current now.
Okay. Oh, we here
You
now.
said you were traditional.
Gotcha.
Anyway, keep going. Talk about your utopia.
Yep. Yeah, you can kind of just do whatever you are, do whatever you want. I know there's going to be spaces where it needs to be a little more buttoned up and traditional, like when you have your Augustas. Like, there's already a space for that, but there's not really as much of a space as you kind of just being free and just doing whatever you want and just being outside and enjoying life and just getting better and, yeah, just competitive, whatever it is that people bring people into this sport and be comfortable and respectful as well, too. That's, yeah.
Gonna have Pro Vs on the range.
Man, gotta have some Pro Vs.
I tell you what
Wyatt's gotta do.
inclusivity and diversity. I need you to make some more birdies tomorrow, Wyatt. I'm be watching.
Man, you still on that? Huh?
You know,
Like,
Will
the
did it.
The
No,
crazy
Will
thing
did it.
is,
Will
like, a
brought it
tournament
up.
is not just 18. Like, there's also more room.
There is.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo.
I know this.
And while Will's doing that, Cody, run that music. Yeah, no, we gonna start it.
I just know this.
Then we gotta talk
I
shit
know
a little
this.
bit.
I'm
We
here
can't
for
just-
it.
I know this.
My
When I tee off after you, I'm gonna root you.
Hey yo, Henni.
I just want to be invited back when I make it into another tour event, so
You
then
will.
we can
That's it.
we can pick this right back
Hey,
up.
Wyatt,
Yo,
best of luck to you,
appreciate
man.
you, man.
You know you
Appreciate
got fans
man.
in
Yes,
us
sir.
all day.
Fam.
Yeah,
Henni,
absolutely.
thank you for staying
Thank you,
up
Henni.
late in
Thank you
London
so much.
town to come with us beyond the fairway live from, I guess you could say, APGA Black History Month Classic right here in Palm Springs.